All right, so now let's quickly look at so I'm gonna remove some of these things. So in C Sharp, there is two categories of declaring variables. So you can either declare them as explicitly, which is using the variable, the data type first, okay, just like we're doing. So let me just remove this as well. Or you can declare them explicitly or implicitly using the var keyword. So the thing is, whatever, if the variable is declared with a data type, right, so they are called explicitly typed variable. For instance, if I've got I can say string name is maybe Jonathan, okay, so this is called explicitly typed, meaning on name I can't really put a value or a number because it's explicitly typed. It's declared that it must be a string, and here I'm putting an integer. So I get this error here that says cannot implicitly convert int to a string. Okay, but however, I think you can always do this. No, okay, but I will show you later how we can cast. When it's called casting, when you actually convert one data type to another data type. So, but for now, it just gives us that error here, okay, because it's expecting a string. So now I think C Sharp 2, C Sharp 3, 3.0, they introduce the var keyword method, the var keyword variable, okay. So that one doesn't specify what type of data. Basically, I can say var. So this is known as implicitly typed because you do not specify the type, the data type. Okay. So if I say var age, and I can say 21, it doesn't give me an error. And if I say age is 21, so now you see here, because C Sharp is aware of the value, is giving me an error. It's aware of the value, although I didn't specify that the age must be an integer, but it's actually aware of that. Okay, so we can also print out the type by saying console dot writeLine, and I just want to get the age dot get type. So there is a, if you want to check the type of data there. Okay. Okay, so if we compile that, then it's just going to tell you this is an integer. So it just says system.int32, so it's an integer. So what if I go and say age is 21, like this? It's not going to give me an error. Okay, so let's recompile again. So now it tells me this is a string. Why? Because 21 I actually quoted, and anything that you can quote is a string. So it tells me that it is a string that we're working with. So that's why a var is declaring variables using the var keyword. They are called implicitly typed because you don't specify the data type. Now these can be used, var can be used to declare any built-in type or a user-defined type or an anonymous variable as well. So because you can also declare the user-defined type. Let's say I've got a class here called students. I've got a class called student. Let's say I've got a class called student, and within this class I'm going to have some properties. So I'm going to have student ID. I'm going to have the ID, which is the what do you call, an integer, right? And then I'm going to have another property here, which is going to be a string, and so I'm going to have student name. Okay, so now this is a mix of, you see these properties is a mix of variables. So this is my own defined type in this class, which is a mix of variables. If I were to create maybe a list of students, then I can use a var, and I can say students and is list. Okay, and this list must take a type. Okay, but it's gonna be the type of student class. It's gonna be the type of student, you see that. And then here I will go on and have a new student, and I can have ID is 1 and the name is something else. Maybe this is John or something, you see. So I can do something like that, and I can do something like that. Okay, so I need I can't remember now this. Okay, I need to use generics, using system collections and generics, isn't it? Oh, I need to use the new keyword. Oh, there we go. You see now. So I can go on and create another student. I can say new student, and I can just give an ID of 2. Okay, and the name will be Steve. You see now I've got now I've used var, and but I'm saying I've created a variable called students, and then it's holding a list or a collection of students, but this list is of the type of student class, which contains mixed data types, you see. Again, and then I can go on and print that out using the loop. I can use a for each. I can use for each, and I can say student in stud in students. That is just giving me a problem here. I need to use var again. Is it var student in students, and I can just console write that, just to write the list of students. So I can just say student dot name. Okay, but we will get into the collections later on. So this is just going to print all the names that we've got in the collection. So if we compile this, and then we can see John and Steve. Okay, so but what I'm trying to explain is that you can create your own type, your own data type. Okay, so but if I only had name, I can always say I want to create a list of string. And then I can just declare the students. Okay, so you can create your own type variable. Okay, So there's different ones. We can look at. Like the booleans and all of that. So we can say var is married, which is true. If I assign a value there, and then if we get the type, then you'll see that it's a ball. It says system.ball. So we can just write that console dot. Let's just write it here. Console dot and write. Oof, I'm outside the program now. I'm outside the class, not the class, but the method. So we can write that console dot write line is married dot get type. So you'll see that is actually a boolean. And then it just tells me this is system dot boolean. Okay. So now that is now the implicitly typed variable must be initialized at the time of declaration. Meaning you can't remember in the previous example. Okay, remove that. You can't say var last name. It's gonna give you an error. So you have to initialize it. You have to assign a value and a time of declaration. Okay. And then also multiple declarations is not allowed when it comes to implicitly typed variables. It's not allowed. So you can't say var name, email, comma, phone, and all of those things. So you can't do that. So also you cannot use it in the method. You cannot use as a parameter. So meaning, what do I mean by that? If I've got a method, let's say maybe it's just maybe I've got like a method called work, and I can always pass a parameter like this string, and I can say job. Okay, and so that is okay. Now I create a method within another method. That's not allowed as well. You need to go outside the method. Remember, we are in the main method, so you have to be somewhere here. Okay. So we can do this with explicitly typed variable as a parameter, but you can't use implicitly typed variable. See, already it's giving me an error. So it's giving me an error. But you can use it on the for each on the loop, just like we used it here. You can use it on the loop, okay, just like we use it here. Okay, so but they can also be used in the link queries. Okay, I'm just gonna maybe create another collection here so that I can show you. So I'm gonna create another collection somewhere here, and I'm gonna use iList. So this iList is of the type of a string, because you see now I'm declaring that it's of the type of a string, and I can just say names. Okay, and it's a new list that is type of the string. Okay, and I can just have the name here. Let's say we've got Bob, we've got Chris, and we've got Jackie. Okay, and now if I were to use the sorry, I just need to take this. All right, so we have this collection, and we're gonna use a link query using the var. So I can just say var, let me just call it all, and I can say from from, let's say, n in names, okay, and where if I just want to print Chris, one name, so I can just search or filter it using the where clause. So I can say where n dot contains the word Chris, okay, and I can say select n.